So, hello students. Today we shall discuss module 5 in the energy engineering subject. The US being 17 series, that is 17 ME 71 is the core subject. And this module 5 consists mainly of biomass, biogas, fuel cells, green buildings, something like this. Okay. So now what is biomass? Whatever you see outside, trees, even leaf, grass, what you can call this as biomass, right? This all whatever you find, you can call them as biomass because they are having biological origin. And if you look at where it is used, this you have seen where people use wood. Yeah, very good. People use wood for burning. Where you have seen burning? Preparing food where? In villages or towns or cities? Mainly in villages, and the poor low income group people in even urban areas, correct? So this biomass, especially wood, you can see a lot of people, whatever the old trees are there, fallen down trees are there from the jungle, whether it is in Goa or Karnataka, I think they are allowed to carry some firewood. It's like basically firewood. So when they burn it, so that is like heat. When they burn it, it burns, correct? And it burns very nicely. You have seen wood burning, it burns by itself nicely, it gives heat, correct? And so that is used for cooking. I have seen that in even hotels, they produce this water, hot water for the people to have bath. Boilers, they will have small boilers, and that is wood fired boilers they call. Then of course you have got now electrical fired boilers and LPG fired boilers. That also are there, packaged boilers are there. So this how these plants have grown basically because of how the plants grow. Now this is a source of energy, biomass is a source of energy. So how it is growing? Speak loudly. Light, sun, very good, excellent point. Sun is the main source of energy basically. Sun is the main source of energy, and because of the sunlight, of course there are nutrients from the soil also, it takes nutrients, it takes water also, okay? But it produces food and it grows. So what is that process called? Photosynthesis. Good, you know that photosynthesis is a process wherein the plants, the green components of the plants, leaves and all, they take the carbon dioxide. They take what? They take carbon dioxide. They also take the water from the soil, okay? Carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, then convert that into two things. One is glucose, and that glucose only helps it grow up, plants, okay? And secondly, it produces oxygen. CO2, 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O. In the presence of sunlight, it gives to C6H12O6. C6H12O6 is glucose, okay? And it gives 6 O2, that is oxygen. Very good. This is known as the process of photosynthesis, wherein 6 molecules of water with 6 molecules of CO2 produce 1 molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen. Got it? So actually this is the basis of survival for all man, animal, everything. We are surviving on mostly plants. So we should know what is photosynthesis. So biomass is the organic matter produced by plants through the photosynthesis process in nature. Now what is organic? Organic means it contains carbon. Organic means it contains carbon. And in any fuel, you take any fuel like let it be wood or LPG or petrol. What are the things which burn actually in that? Your petrol you are putting in a bike, na? So what are the things which burn in a petrol? What are the constituents of petrol like? Very good. Carbon and next? Excellent. Carbon and hydrogen. There are only two things burn, and that is what we are interested in. Okay. So carbon and that is why they are known as hydrocarbons. Like petrol is octane. Petrol is nothing but octane, C8H18. Chemical formula is C8H18. Your LPG gas, that is a mixture of propane and butane, that is C3H8. 3,8. Understood now? So different combination like diesel. I think diesel is C16H32. Understood? So they are nothing but mixture of carbon and hydrogen which burn and produces heat energy. The main source of energy is again the solar radiation here for biomass, and biomass is generated on land as well as under water. In water also you have seen a lot of biomass. You have seen green things on the water. The biomass refers to all the plant life, that is agriculture products, trees, grass, algae, which undergo photosynthesis utilizing solar energy. Okay. So the traditional source of biomass is solid wood, or what is agriculture residue, by the way? What do you understand by agriculture residue? No. See, you have seen people planting rice here, paddy they are planting, correct? They plant the paddy, then they will get such a 1 or 2 feet crop, right? In that top portion, that paddy they will take out. Whatever remains balance, that is agriculture residue. Even that top, whatever the seeds are there, they will remove the rice and balance thing, that is also agriculture residue. Understood? So lot of agriculture residue is there. That also sometimes people burn. Either it can be used as a manure in the field itself, or people burn it also to produce energy. Got it? Now understood what is agriculture residue? And then non-traditional biomass, means this biomass we can convert this also. I will tell you very strange because you have not seen this or heard, so you will be surprised. Biomass, this can be converted into liquid fuels as well as gaseous fuels. Have you seen this anywhere? Anywhere you have seen converting wood into gas? It is there. Huh? Biodiesel, we are converting that into liquid fuel. Very good. Biodiesel, we are converting that oil seeds, whatever from biomill we will get seeds. That we can convert into diesel. That is very good. Liquid fuel. This gas, even biogas, we put the cow dung, you produce the gas. I think Goa, they are there. Lot of biogas plants are there. Even our human waste toilets are there, they connect it to the biogas plant. It produces gas, and that gas has got good combustion properties. It burns with a very blue flame. Okay, in Bombay, I have seen IIT Bombay, huge, some 70-80 lakh rupees they have spent and put a big biogas plant. And what they use there, they have got some 15-16 hostels. So whatever food is remaining from that hostel, that they dump inside and convert into gas, and that gas is pumped for canteen, for cooking purpose. I have seen that. Okay. Now you understood what is photosynthesis, what is biomass, and now we will see energy plantation. Have you heard this word energy plantation or silviculture? You have not seen. You have not heard of this only. See, because now energy plantation means, suppose you have got a big land, like this land, I am talking just example, some 12 acres of land is there. So I will grow plants. I will grow such plants like this soya bubble and all these plants are there. You can see this with like similar to eucalyptus. They grow very fast. So I will specifically grow those plants so that I can cut them. So suppose I have got 12 acres land, so 1 acre I will plant this year, next year I will plant 1 acre. So what happens? Every time one plant will grow, I will cut. So the rotation every time I will get every month or every year I will get the crop. So that crop, that plant, whatever tree we call, we are growing only for cutting and using it as a energy source of energy. This is known as silviculture or energy plantation. You have not heard of this, but it is there. In some certain places, this energy plantation is there. Okay. Even your sugar cane. Nowadays people grow sugar cane. So what happens? Sugar cane in sugar factory. You have seen any sugar factory? So in sugar factory, early days they were only producing sugar. Today, what they are doing? Anybody? Any guess? Excellent. In sugar factory, they are also producing ethanol out of the molasses. That black some like liquid will come out. That is a byproduct. That they will convert into ethanol. And that ethanol, whatever bike you are using in bikes and cars, your petrol, it has got already 10% ethanol. Okay. Then there is something called sweet sorghum, sweet beets. Okay. Even potato, carbohydrate plants, so that you can ferment them. You can, I think in Goa, a lot of distilleries are there. I am told there are 50 distilleries. Correct? They produce all this, what you call wine, whiskey, rum. How they produce? Any idea? Very good. The process is called as, the simple process is known as fermentation. Here ethyl alcohol production is also by fermentation. These are all ethyl alcohol only. Whatever you drink, these different drinks, they are nothing but ethyl alcohol. Potable, they are potable. Okay. C2H5OH. What is the chemical formula? C2H5OH. So what is there here? C is there, H is there, and one more thing is there. What is that? Oxygen. So very important thing, please understand, whatever this biomass fuels are there, even alcohol is there, it has got inbuilt oxygen. Just now we are talking about biodiesel also. So it has got almost around 8 to 10% of oxygen. So what will happen if the fuel has got oxygen? What will happen? The fuel will burn better or not better? Correct? Very good. The fuel will burn. So that is why these biofuels, whatever you call, they burn better because they have got inbuilt oxygen. But one flip side of that is, because they have got 10% of the oxygen in that, so heating value will reduce by 10%. Correct? That is not carbon or hydrogen which burns and gives you heat. Oxygen only is an oxidizer which promotes combustion. Got it? So two things. One is it promotes combustion so that emissions are less. But on the flip side is, instead of carrying suppose 10 liters, you have to now carry 11 liters for the same. Correct? Energy plantation or energy farming is thus an attractive means of harvesting large amounts of solar energy by growing plants and use as biomass. So what we are doing, we are taking advantage of the solar energy to grow trees. Okay. So for energy plantation, normally fast growing trees. I told you these trees are shown, they are very fast growing trees. Farm crops, aquatic farms like algae are cultivated which utilize large amount of solar energy. They are using only sun, and solar energy is free. Correct? Very effectively in short duration. Okay. So now how you can use this biomass? Now you have seen different things. So how you can use this biomass? So one simple thing, what you see, as you told, you burn it directly. So that is known as dry combustion. That is known as dry combustion. But that efficiency is very low. That efficiency, whatever you use in chula, the efficiency is very low. It is in single digits only. Okay. So then second is wet. wet you told, no? Wet you can, that is anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic means in the absence of air, it get digested, huh? And it produces biogas. It produces biogas. Simple. You take your stomach, you eat food that also has carbon. Okay. Organic food you eat, no? What happens here? Whether air is going inside your stomach? No. Air is only going in your lungs through respiratory system, not in the stomach. So here the food gets there, and if it gets fermented, what happens? You produce gas. It goes from top or bottom. This is also like a digester only. Simple example I am giving. Same thing, big things are there. Big things are there. Okay. The digester is simple. There air is not going, and there are bacteria, different types of bacteria, and that will have stages, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and last stage is like methanogenesis. It ultimately produces methane. It ultimately produces methane, and methane is CH4, correct? So that is CH4. It is a gas. It produces, you can burn it, right? Then even this wood, if you take this wood, dry that wood, okay, and in a container, heat the container in the absence of air, then you will produce a gas which is known as wood gas. This is a new thing for you, that is I am telling. A lot of research has gone into this. You can Google it. Then the process is known as pyrolysis. The process is known as pyrolysis. That which produces, what it produces? Wood gas. That is a combustible gas, but it has some percentage of carbon dioxide also in that. Okay. Then there is liquefaction, like you can produce ethanol or methanol by fermentation process. Then there is gasification, this pyrolysis what I told. Then there is gasification also. And then for improving that gasification, there is something called steam gasification. They are adding steam and increasing the rate of reaction. So that is known as steam gasification. And there is one more process called as hydrogenation. Process known as hydrogenation. These are, because see, as you know, wood, you are not knowing what is agriculture residue, okay, what is pyrolysis, what is gasification, only biodiesel he could speak. And fermentation, in fermentation you produce alcohol, that is ethyl alcohol, right? So there are basically two techniques. One is thermochemical conversion and another is biochemical conversion. Thermochemical means application of heat. You had breakfast, no? Speak loudly. So it is recorded, class is recorded. So thermochemical means there is application of heat and there is a chemical reaction. Biochemical means there is some bacteria, some yeast, some enzymes, correct? These are all biological and there is a conversion. Okay. Now what I was talking about is pyrolysis, correct? I spoke about pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is a dry method which basically involves thermochemical process. It is a destructive distillation process by which high calorific value fuels can be produced. In this, dry woody matter is converted into usable form of energy by roasting them in a reactive vessel. Roasting them in a reactive vessel. I told in the absence of air, correct? The raw material is shredded form is fed into the vessel and heated in the absence of air. So this, you cannot put the entire tree, you have to chop the tree to small 1 inch, 2 inch small pieces and that put it, okay, into the vessel, closed vessel, and at a high temperature in the absence of air. Under high temperature, in the absence of oxygen, the volatile compounds are driven out. The volatile, what is volatile means? If I put petrol here, now what will happen? That is called volatile. If I put water, it will also less volatile. It will also evaporate over a period of time, but petrol will evaporate. Volatile compounds are driven out and lightweight charred solid residue is obtained. when the wood is there, it has got moisture, some volatile matter, it is heavy. But when you heat it in the absence of air, then whatever you get, that will be lightweight material only. And you will get the gas, okay, that is used as. And this process where they use, what that wood is remaining now? What is that wood called now? Huh? Excellent. It is not called coal, it is called charcoal. Because in that you have removed the moisture, volatile material has been removed. It is not totally burnt. I never told it is burnt. But that remaining is called as charcoal, and it has got high quality than compared to wood. It is of higher quality than wood. You might have seen this istri walas manual, they are putting the charcoal, that is charcoal only. Okay. Coal, of course, what you are saying, coal, that takes long process. That is a long process naturally happening in the down in the earth. But this is with human technology, converting wood into charcoal. Good. Next is liquefaction. Liquefaction means, in this method, the feedstock is heated rapidly at lower temperatures and the vapors are condensed from the gas stream. What is this distillation? You are drinking that rum, na? XXX rum. So what is that XXX rum means? Distillation. They are taking that heating. Suppose when you heat it, it has got some moisture and alcohol. Alcohol, what is the boiling point of alcohol? Somewhere around 70 degrees centigrade. Water 100 degrees centigrade at 1 bar pressure, right? So when heat, what will happen? Ethyl alcohol will evaporate. It will form gas because 72 it will evaporate, and then it is condensed. So first distillation means you are converting that, evaporating first, phase change, liquid to vapor, and second condensing that vapor to liquid. This is known as distillation. 3 times XXX. Okay. Now gasification. Now coming to gasification. Gasification again, like I told you, pyrolysis, no? Thermochemical heat, okay, is used. In this vertical cylindrical vessel of varying cross section is used, in which the biomass is heated with less amount of air. That is incomplete combustion, not complete combustion, incomplete partial combustion you can say, to generate a gas, and that gas is known as producer gas. This is important for your syllabus exam point of view. There is something like updraft gasifier, downdraft gasifier, cross draft gasifier. So they are only putting wood in small pieces, okay, partial combustion, not complete combustion, and then whatever gas you get, it is known as producer gas. And we are discussing about steam gasification. In this thermochemical process, in which methane, ultimately I told methane, we are getting methane only, CH4, is generated directly from the biomass. The feed, means this wood pieces, is heated at high temperature and pressure in the presence of hydrogen. From where you are getting hydrogen? What is water? H2O. So when you immediately heat, what will be high temperature, high pressure, you will get converted to high hydrogen and oxygen. So this hydrogen will mix with carbon and produce CH4, that is methane. Got it? Steam gasification is a very important process. The feed is heated at high temperature and pressure in the presence of hydrogen. The required hydrogen is obtained by the steam supplied to the reactor vessel, and hence the name steam gasification. The gas yield is about 50%. The water gas is produced in the industries by this method. Okay, steam gasification industry, because carbon is already there. In the wood, carbon is there. I want to convert that C into CH4. So I want H there. So from where I am getting H? from H2O at high temperature, high pressure. This process is known as steam gasification. Even for coal, even not only wood, this we are discussing about wood, but coal also they do like this gasification. I want to convert that coal, that is coal is solid fuel. I want to convert it into gaseous fuel. Then I will do this process. I will get gas. And what is that gas called? What gas you are getting? Methane. We are getting is methane. One more process, lastly what we told is hydrogenation. In this the biomass is subjected to higher temperature, about 400 degrees centigrade, and high pressures, about 100 atmosphere or 100 bar. Under these conditions, carbon monoxide CO and steam react with cellulose of the biomass and produce heavy oils like tar oil. These heavy oils can be refined further to obtain high quality fuels. Okay, so these plants, these all they contain something called cellulose and lignin, correct? So gasification, as I was telling, so this is again thermochemical process, and based on the direction of gas flow, we call it updraft, downdraft, or crossdraft. Okay, and capacity also we can say small capacity, medium capacity, and high capacity. And based on the bed, very important thing I will tell you, this is a very important point, based on the type of bed. You have seen boilers now, where they put wood and burn and heat they produce. You have seen normally, small house also you have got boilers, hotels also you have seen boilers. Now have you visited this Aditya Birla plant in Binga? They too have boilers. But what they in that boiler, on that, what is that called, on steel rods are there on which you keep the wood. What you call it? As grate. You call it as, to burn your wood or coal, what you give, there is some steel bars, so bottom air will come, the coal will burn, correct? Wood or coal will burn, bottom air has to come, na? That is why it is kept on steel rods. So this is like a fixed bed. This is a old technology. It is not giving high efficiency or high combustion rates. If you go to Aditya Birla plant, they have got something called FBC. They have something called as FBC, that is known as Fluidized Bed Combustion. That is known as Fluidized Bed Combustion. What is the technology is? Good morning. So what the technology is? There is no grate. There is no physical steel rods. There is air. There is बॉटम में हवा है, हवा के ऊपर ये जो कोल के पार्टिकल्स है ना, स्मॉल, नॉट लम्प्स ऑफ कोल, स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स लाइक पाउडर, इट विल बी फ्लोटिंग, नीचे से हवा आ रहा है, आग लगा है और ये फ्लोट कर रहा है, तो कंबशन अच्छा होगा क्या खराब होगा? अच्छा होगा ना, सिंपल. दैट इज अ न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी फॉर मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, दैट इज नोन एज FBC, Fluidized Bed Combustion. So the fuel will get burnt very nicely, emissions will be less. Why emissions will be less? You know, if there is full combustion, it is C plus O2 will become CO2. If there is a partial combustion, it will become C plus O, that will become CO. I think yesterday I was reading, one lady and her daughter died in Bangalore by inhaling this CO due to this gas geyser. You read that? So very poisonous. CO is very poisonous gas. So, in the fluidized bed, there is a hot bed of inert particles like sand or reactive material like limestone, which are held in suspension, fluidized by the upward current of air. This fluidized hot bed, that is almost 950 degrees centigrade, transfers the heat easily to the biomass and aids in the gasification process or aids in combustion also. Okay. This you can see in Aditya Birla plant, FBC boiler. So you have got gasifier, downdraft, This gasification, what happens now? Again, there are 4 steps. How many steps in this? There are 4 steps in the gasification. Whatever wood you put, wood has got some amount of moisture. The first step, the moisture will go away. First stage, what will go away? Moisture will go. So what do you call it as drying zone? Correct? First stage, it will dry. So the air moisture will go. That is called as drying zone. Say somewhere 100-120 degrees centigrade. Correct ना? उसमें गर्म होके चला जाएगा पानी. Next is pyrolysis zone. 200 to 600 degrees centigrade. There is pyrolysis zone. Then there will be combustion, like oxidation. Na? Oxidation is also known as combustion. So 900 to 1000 degrees, 1000 degrees, 200 degrees. This will be there. And then last is reduction zone. Again 600 to 900 degrees. So there are 4 zones. One is drying zone. Second is pyrolysis zone. Third is oxidation zone, and fourth is reduction zone. And when you supply this, it's simple. It's a cylindrical vessel. You are supplying air. Okay? From top, if the wood is coming from top, big cylindrical vessel is there. You have put on the top. You have put the small pieces of wood. So they will start coming down. Combustion is happening at the bottom. So first phase, because of 80, 90, 100 degrees centigrade, moisture will go. That is the drying zone. As we come down, then next will pyrolysis, 600 to 900. And below that, at the grate, you will have the combustion. And below that, there will be reduction. And what you get is like hydrogen and methane. Okay? So here you can see the producer gas will have a calorific value of almost 4 to 5000 kilojoules per meter cube. Gas they will tell in terms of meter cube volume. And it will have CO, carbon monoxide, that also will burn. CO will burn. CO2 will not burn. CO will burn. Hydrogen also it will have 15%. Methane, some 4%. Carbon dioxide also will be there, because burnt thing also will have 10%. But that will not burn. CO2 will not burn. Okay. Okay. And hydrogen about 50%. So this is known as producer gas. And this can be used for generation of steam or electricity production or for industrial purpose. You please Google, these all videos are small videos are available. Of course, my YouTube channel or institution channel you will get. Now there is something called wet method. These are all dry methods. Now wet method. Wet method is anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic digestion. Anaerobic means without air, in the absence of air. Very good. So what is that which plays a role? That is microbacteria, basically bacteria, different types of bacteria. Anaerobic digestion is the microbial digestion of biomass in the absence of oxygen. Okay. An anaerobic is a microorganism that lives and grows without oxygen. It uses the oxygen available in the matter for decomposition. Oxygen is required. From where it gets the oxygen? From the matter only, organic matter, whatever wood. Even you know what is the amount of oxygen in the wood? Can any guess? Any guess? You see wood, if once you light it, it keeps first class burning. Correct है ना? एक बार आग लग गया उसको तो लगता है बंद नहीं होता वो. It has got lot of oxygen in that. Okay. The process takes place in the temperature of a range of 35 to 65 degrees centigrade. With about 80% of moisture is essential for the reaction to take place. Even this stomach, you take anaerobic digestion in stomach only. Here moisture is there. पानी पिया ना तुमने, दूध पिया, पानी पिया, सब 80% moisture है. One thing, नहीं तो you can't eat anything dry. First, then what absence of air. Bacteria are there. You know how many bacteria are microorganisms are there in your body? Any idea? Any idea? In trillions. In not billions, trillions I am telling. Man, you are not aware, that is I am telling you. Not in billions, it is in trillions. Billion is 100 crores. Correct? The reaction releases mainly CO2 and CS2 with negligible impurities. So, what all you can use? Green plants, animal dung, sewage, sludge, wood shaving, straw, go for anaerobic digestion. I think you have not seen, if you go to villages and all, you will find this anaerobic digestion, and they are known as biogas plant. Even now cities, this Syntex, Nilkamal, they have come with small plastic, they make this plastic tanks, na? They have come with biogas plant, ready-made. Yeah, I think you have not tried, you have not seen also. We had one behind our canteen, if I don't know if you can find it there, it is there. One biogas plant students have made as a part of the final year project, capstone project they call it. So, what happens here? Fermentation takes place. What happens? What is fermentation? Fermentation is a process of breaking down of a complex molecule in the presence of ferment like yeast, bacteria, enzymes, etc. And what is produced? Ethyl alcohol is produced. So, generally the fibrous residues of plant crops like crushed sugarcane, fruits, I think to make wine, what is used? Grapes. To make urak, what is used? Cashew fruit is used, correct? Then to make rum, what is used? Sugarcane is used. To make whiskey, barley is used. So, all these things you know how it is made, correct? Very good. See, if you use 1 ton of wood, 1 ton is 1000 kg, you will get 250 liters of alcohol. So, as an engineer you should know these values, कितना आएगा, हम बोला कितना देता है, कितना माइलेज देता है, वैसे ही. And the residue whatever you get after fermentation, the solid thing, that is high in protein. So, it can go as a cattle feed, it will go as a, we also like to eat protein, na? So, now cattle also they give protein. So, you understood what is biomass, what is biogas. So, what is the difference between biomass and biogas? This is regularly asked in exam. What is the difference between biomass and biogas? Biomass is solid or liquid or gas? Biomass is mostly solid. Biogas is gas in gaseous state first, okay. And biomass is produced naturally because of sunlight. Biogas is produced by fermentation. Correct? It is not directly, biogas is not directly produced. In the presence of sunlight, biomass is produced. And what is biogas? What it contains? Mainly it contains, biogas contains methane. And what are the sources of biomass? Wood, then animal waste, plants, these all biomass. What is biogas? There is no direct source. Biogas is produced from biomass. Correct? Third, biomass is naturally available through plant and animal sources. Even animal excreta, animal dung, they make cakes, na? Animal dungs, they can, that is also used as a energy source of energy only. Whereas here biogas is produced only by fermentation, where human intervention is there. So, the calorific value of biomass is less. I told you even the combustion efficiency of biomass is, that biomass is less, whereas the calorific value is more. Okay. And burning of this biomass is cumbersome because you have got wood, it is difficult to burn. But if you have got gas, gas is very easy to burn. LPG gas, very convenient. Food means you have to bring, store, take, material, and so much problems are there. So many problems are there. But liquid or gaseous fuel very nice to burn, and they are very clean burning fuels also. Get it? So, what are the sources of biomass for digestion? Like this biodigester: animal waste, human waste, agriculture waste, industrial waste, marine plants like water hyacinth, algae, ocean kelp. These are all the sources of biomass for digestion. Okay. This biogas is also known as gobar gas. This is known as, because पहला गोबर डाल के बनाते थे उसको, तो इसलिए गोबर गैस भी बोलते हैं उसको. So there are again, as I said, in that also there are stages, 4 stages, different types of bacteria. First तुम जो डालोगे, whatever animal, suppose you have put gobar only. What we eat, human beings, we eat like nutrients. What we eat? Proteins, carbohydrates, then fats. Same animals also eat same thing only. Proteins, carbohydrates and fat. This minerals बहुत कम रहता है. क्या रहता है? बहुत कम रहता है. ठीक है. तो फर्स्ट उसको पानी मिला के एक मिक्स करते हैं. दैट इज हाइड्रोलाइसिस. क्योंकि ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड इट शुड हैव मॉइस्चर. 80% तो पानी रहना चाहिए. राइट है ना. तो उसको हाइड्रोलाइसिस बोलते हैं. तो ये क्या कन्वर्ट हो जाते हैं? कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू शुगर, फैट्स गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू फैटी एसिड्स and proteins get converted into amino acids. This is useful for you also. We also eat proteins that are broken down into amino acid. Carbohydrates are broken down into sugar. ठीक है. And proteins are broken down into amino acids. Right? Now first stage there bacteria is known as acidogenesis. क्या होता है? Acid converting bacteria. उसको acidogenesis bacteria बोलते हैं. So this they will convert this amino acids, fatty acids as well as sugars into carbonic acids and alcohol. They will convert them into carbonic acids and alcohol. First is acid, second is acidogenesis. Then acetogenesis, ACETO, acetogenesis. Then they will produce hydrogen, acetic acid. Acetogenesis में acetic acid. Acidogenesis में it will convert into acid. This sugar, amino acids, fatty acids, they will convert into sugar. That is acidogenesis. Third stage is acetogenesis. It will convert to acetic acid, carbonic dioxide or hydrogen. And last is methanogenesis. Last is methanogenesis. They are different set of bacteria. They will convert that into methane. Samay? And but also there will be CO2. There will also be CO2. So now what people are planning? They will remove the CO2 and only methane. So it is a high calorific value fuel. Correct? So these biogas plants are now understood the 4 stages. Hydrolysis, ठीक है. Second acidogenesis. Third is acetogenesis. Last is methanogenesis. Last is methane only. What are producing? Methane, methanogenesis. All genesis. Acidogenesis, acetogenesis, methanogenesis. Okay. So you have got different types of plants like fixed dome, floating dome plants. And one point they ask very regularly, this you study these plants. You can see, I will just show here this sketch. You can see here. This is ground level. Okay, this is ground level. This is below the ground. This is below. This is a KVIC model. They are called as KVIC, Khadi and Village Industries Corporation biogas plant. Okay, only this is top. This is the ground. They dig a pit and put. Okay. Now what is it? Here we are putting the input tank. Means what is the gobar or animal waste? We will mix it with water and make it a slurry. We will make it like slurry and put it here. It will come to this tank. It will come to this tank. Here again I told you there are 4 stages have to take place. So 1 or 2 stages will happen here. 1 or 2 stages will happen here. Okay, and then when that reaction takes place, that originally the material was heavy, then it becomes lightweight because uska ingredients get lost. Then that physical matter comes here. This is like high in protein and it is used as a manure, physical waste. Then whatever you get is gas. You get methane gas plus CO2. That is stored in this tank. Because the pressure increases, the tank floats. The tank here the tank है ऊपर आता है, तो मालूम पड़ता है कि उसमें गैस है. टैंक नीचे है तो उसका मतलब क्या है? गैस नहीं है. तो यू कैन मेक आउट टैंक ऊपर आ गया तो हवा है उसके अंदर, गैस है. तो वो गैस को डायरेक्टली दे विल हैव ऑल एंड यूज इट. You understood? Very simple stuff. It comes, slurry is made here, gets inside here. This whatever hydrolysis, acidogenesis take place. Then here it will what will take place? Your acetogenesis and methanogenesis. This methane and CO2 will come here. Gas will come here. The solid part will come here. This part will go as a manure. This is floating dome. This is floating dome. I told dome is floating. Floating dome biogas plant. There is one more Chinese model. This is called like Chinese model or fixed dome. Here the dome is not floating. Here again same input slurry tank is there. यहाँ पे mix करके डाल देंगे, वो इधर आएगा. यहाँ पे वो चारों reaction हो जाएगा. ऊपर गैस आ जाएगा. So ये normally I have seen in my village. They have made of bricks का बनाया dome. ठीक है? And it takes almost 1 month. First day when you put, so immediately next day you will not get gas. After 1 month you start getting gas. So every day you put that material, every day you will get gas. समझा ना? That lock-in period is almost 1 month. And here you get gas. This dome is not fixed. So this is not a fixed dome. Do you understand what is floating dome? Fixed dome. One of them definitely appears for your examination. Okay? And I think last part we will see. Last part, what are the factors which affect the biogas production? Very important point. Can you tell me what are the factors? Guess. अब बायोगैस बनना चाहिए ना, तो क्या क्या what are the factors? पहले पानी मिलाने का बोला था मैंने, तो पानी मिलाना चाहिए ना, ज़्यादा भी नहीं मिलाना चाहिए, कम भी नहीं मिलाना चाहिए. लेते वक्त करेक्ट रहा तो मज़ा आता है, ज़्यादा रहा तो पानी रहा तो मज़ा नहीं आता. करेक्ट. So there is a proper ratio of water in that. Correct. No, I give a real life example, then only you will understand. If I talk big things, you will not understand. Okay? Huh? Then temperature. See, what is the temperature? 35 to 65 we have seen. If the temperature falls down, what will happen? Reaction rate will slow down. Correct? Otherwise, even they may die. The small microorganism, you just, I'll give an example of curd. You have seen curd making? You know how to make curd? How? Huh? Huh? How you have made curd anytime? See, you are all theoretical engineers. Boss, to make curd, they'll take milk, slightly heat, thoda lukewarm. Keep it. They'll put some curd in that. Curd means bacteria already there. And they'll keep outside only. They'll keep outside some 4 to 5 hours. How many hours? Bus. This curd, this all bacteria will multiply. And entire milk will get converted into curd. 5 hours. That depends on the temperature. बाद में कर्ड बनने के बाद क्या करते हैं, उसको फ्रिज में रख देते हैं. फ्रिज में क्यों रखते हैं? It will not multiply. Once you keep in fridge, it will not multiply. Please listen carefully. Same logic applies here also. Now we are all moving like this because we are in the temperature 35 degree centigrade. If I bring this to 0 degree centigrade, तुम्हारी हालत ऐसी हो जाएगी कि नहीं? हाँ? सिंपल. अबे हमारी हालत ऐसी हो जाएगी तो वो बेचारा बैक्टीरिया की क्या हालत है? Got my point? The temperature also plays an important role. In other Western countries and all, when the temperatures normally fall down, so they heat their tanks. Whatever tanks are seen, because this US, Europe and all, they have got big biogas plants. So temperature goes minus, so they will heat it. Okay, with hot water and all, they will heat that time. Otherwise, in my village, I have seen this Chinese type biogas plant, na, it burst. The brickwork burst. You know why? Because these fellows have biogas plant. Somebody died, some relative died. So what these fellows have done? They have put the material inside and they have gone. Valve is closed. They have put that cow dung slurry and gone for 4-5 days. In normally villages, they are very emotional. Oh, मेरा ये हो गया करके चला गया. वो 5 दिन में वो फिर I think somebody else has also put that. They are not taken away the gas. Valve बंद है. वो साला मैं सीन personally I was shocked. Brick का वो जो ये है क्रैक हो गया. You understand, na? So everything is very important. How you feel, we are also living organisms. We eat regularly. Correct? So they also have to be fed regularly. And regularly excretion has to, that gas has to be taken out. Otherwise, pressure builds up. देन सेकेंड इज पीएच. हमारा स्टमक में भी पीएच है ना. यू हैव एसिड फॉर डाइजेशन. ज़्यादा भी नहीं होना चाहिए, कम भी नहीं होना. सेम थिंग अप्लाइज देयर. एसिड हो गया, क्या होता है उसको, एसिडिटी हो गया बोलते हैं ना, बिकॉज ऑफ एसिड. सो पीएच वैल्यू शुड बी 6 to 7.5. 6 to 7.5 means it is acidic in nature. Above 7 it is alkaline. 0 to 7 is acid. 7 to 14 is alkaline. Then solid content. Solid content should not be more. 10 to 15% उतना ही. पानी मिला के. Then slurry feeding rate. Slowly you have to feed. Every day, regular time you have to feed. ये नहीं कि एक दिन इतना खाना खाया, एक दिन नेक्स्ट खाना नहीं खाया, ऐसा नहीं. It should be fed regularly because you are feeding the bacteria. You have to understand, there are bacteria you are feeding. So temperature is important, moisture content or water humidity is important, pH is important, correct? Feeding rate is important. I will give a lot of food today and 1 week I will make you starve. Is it okay? No. Then seeding. Seeding means that initial bacteria, whatever you put, that is called seeding. Like I gave example of curd. For making curd, in the warm milk they will put some curd. So that curd has got already seeds, bacteria. That will multiply. That is known as seeding. The bacteria present in the cow dung for acid and methane fermentation may not be sufficient. So we have to add some sludge. Then there is something called D by D ratio, diameter to depth ratio. The tank, whatever I told, fixed dome or floating dome, diameter to depth ratio, that is also important. So it should be almost 1, means 1.75 to 1, means itna diameter hai, utna depth hona chahiye. Then additives. So you cannot keep on editing whatever you want. You should know what you should add. That is called actually CN ratio, carbon to nitrogen ratio. दिल में ऐसा ऐड नहीं करने का, ठीक है. एंड स्टरिंग, इट हैज़ टू बी स्टर्ड ऑल्सो. खाना बनाते हो फिर स्टर ना, क्यों स्टर करते हैं? इट शुड मिक्स प्रॉपरली, अदरवाइज वन साइड विल बी कुक्ड, वन साइड विल नॉट बी. होता है कि नहीं? एंड लास्ट इज टॉक्सिसिटी. टॉक्सिसिटी मीन्स आई टोल्ड यू ना, इफ द digested gas, slurry and fermented slurry is left beyond certain time, it becomes toxic. If it becomes toxic, it will kill the bacteria. So this was all about biogas, biomass. Okay, any doubts? Please ask me later. Thank you.